Yeah, I like it.
All right, we're back at it. Just continuing part two here of
That's
our
right. Part two, we're gonna
episode.
talk a little dirty stuff with Nana again.
Keep it
Lights
freaking
are going
going.
down.
Lights are going down.
Yeah, so we're just gonna move right on. Our last pick. We were just talking about Alex drafting Kenneth Walker,
Alex,
and obviously
Steve,
like that pick.
Steve.
But moving on to Hugo at pick 5.
Yeah, it's
This is a good pick, boys. A lot of talent on the board.
there's a lot of talent left. I think for Hugo, and we'll see how the preseason rankings shape up to final season rankings, right? I think
Agree.
some people may think their team's a little better than it is, but I think knowing Hugo and where
I
he likes to
saw the
go,
way you were looking at Marty there.
he's gonna go. I have a feeling you're gonna just go best available here, right? I mean, there's a lot going on with this. It's almost like kind of a toss up at this point, in terms of where you want to go. I know you like Akers. I know you like, um, what's his face? What's your other running back?
Javonte Williams.
Yeah, say it louder for the people in the back, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
and I think
Javonte Williams.
but the things you've seen, right, is especially with Akers, there's some injury risk there, right? I think at this point, while there's a ton of wide receivers that you could almost flip a coin with at this point, the running backs are going to start dropping off pretty quick. I could see, honestly, Hugo going James Cook here, and just kind of taking that point there. I think one of the things to keep in mind with players, I think with running backs, it's not necessarily skill and talent. It's a lot of situation, and being right place, right time. I mean, know there's Singletary there. I know there's Zach Moss, but neither of them really stood out. They both split carries over the last couple of years. They're looking for a workhorse guy. He's got the pedigree there with Dalvin Cook's cousin, right? So, I mean, I'm
His
sure
little
training,
brother, bro.
whatever. Tomato, tomato, right? But anyways, I think that's where he's going. I think the home run chance there versus the coin flip at the receivers is the smart move there.
So you're not high on Singletary, huh?
No, I think he's gonna be like
Okay.
a backup in the league within a year or two, to be honest.
Yeah, and James
Yeah,
Cook.
Marty, thoughts?
I think he fits probably better in that offense too, right? As a pass catching running back, like he's kind of smaller frame. Like that offense does pass a lot, so I think he's just going to fit better in their lineup. So I like the pick. I don't know if it's what Hugo picks, just because I feel like Hugo's got running backs. He's got a lot of depth there. I think maybe if Hugo's going to improve, he's probably going to improve at wide receiver. Just looking at Hugo's team, but I like the
There's
player.
some good wide receivers right there left. There's some good wide receivers.
There's some good ones. I
guess the biggest thing with this is one of the things we're looking at, right, is we talk about 4 being big for Alex. I think a big thing here is this is the hand on the cross, hand on the Bible, Hugo's admission on if Terrence Marshall was a mistake or not. If he believes in him, he's not taking a wide receiver here. He just drafted a wide receiver top 10, right?
That is
wow.
If he goes running back, if he goes running back, he believes in him.
That
wide receiver, he knows he messed up.
You just put me in the blender, bro.
Tell me I'm wrong, though, right?
Great take, Steve. No matter who's great
available.
take. A+.
Right? It's a telling draft, right? We'll see. People can say one thing, but when you see who they're taking, their colors are showing, right? So.
Yep, that's right. So, next pick, I think, is my number 2 most important pick of the draft, and
Brendan's auto drafting. It doesn't really matter who we
He's
think.
auto drafting.
He's getting
right?
Myles Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah. Who does he get? No, Traylon Burks hasn't gone yet.
That's
so he gets
true. Yeah, there's some talent there.
So imagine Burks at 6. Brendan, Brendan needs everything. I think the best player available here, he knows he needs a running back because he's really relying on Eckler and Kamara. After those two, he's got nothing. So best running back available. Who knows who it is?
I think my biggest concern is Marty's got James Cook twice here.
Yeah.
Do I?
No, he's
got actually, never mind. Oh, you're copying and pasting.
Yeah, he's copying.
I think
he's on Hugo's team. This is
we should just cross it out of the players so we don't get confused.
I think with the number 6 pick in the draft, Brendan will take
Here, I'll just split him up a
A
little bit
jet.
more.
I think he would take a jet. Garrett Wilson here. Let's make Garrett Wilson the pick
Garrett
because
Wilson.
I think
Interesting.
Brendan needs a wide receiver. And dude, once you tell Brendan that Garrett Wilson is receiving touchdown passes from Zach Wilson, who fucks moms, and Brendan is into fucking moms,
that's
then
Vinny.
he's gonna be sold. He's gonna be sold. So Brendan, just the hound dog that he is, can't get away from Zach Wilson, and he's in New York, so he'll probably have a Jets jersey by the end of the season just to fit into New York. And that's his pick.
I mean, that'd be interesting. At least he would have a player to actually root for. But like I said, Brennan's auto drafting, so anybody's guess is to who he's actually going to be
Yeah,
getting.
we don't want to spend too much time on him.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. For Matt, I kind of already know the direction that he's leaning. I think obviously if Trey Burks is available, Matt's going to take him. But just for the sake of conversation, I know Matt is really interested in Olave, so I'm going to make that Matt's pick. But I think Matt traded away Michael Thomas because I think Matt believes that Olave is going to be the number one guy on that team. So, which would be kind of a crazy move if he's right, because he gets rid of Michael Thomas thinking that,
Would be
he's not
nuts.
it anymore, and then drafts the new guy that would be taking his spot. So I like the move. I can see it happening. And I like that pick. And if I was in Matt's shoes, that's who I would go for.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Hugo.
I was gonna say, yeah, your brother's really hyping him up. He'll just go from one Saints wide receiver to another, that freaking whore. And I think that's gonna be his pick. What do you think, Steve?
Homie Hopper.
Yeah,
Homie hopping, dude.
he is a homie hopper. But so the thing with Olave, right? He's getting a lot of hype. He's actually the betting favorite right now for offensive rookie of the year. So
He's gonna
Vegas
be.
knows
I think he's gonna
something.
be good.
Vegas knows, right? But I think one of the things to question is their quarterback's a little bit in flux right now, right? A lot of Michael Thomas's best years came with Drew Brees, not the quarterback anymore. Winston coming off the ACL. Who knows what's going on there?
Yeah.
Taysom Hill no longer playing quarterback. Not that he was really providing much anyways, but it's a little bit of an unknown in terms of what he's going to end up doing. But I mean, the volume's definitely going to be there. And let's say Michael Thomas starts going down. I mean, this is your number one for a couple of years on that team.
Yep.
So, and
I
they're a
see it.
team that spends. They're committed to winning, right? So they're probably going to put a good team around him, right? It's not like
They'll
I
just
don't.
buy another quarterback and
Yeah.
go the Drew Brees way when
Yeah, I
someone
don't-
doesn't want to get signed.
I don't picture the Saints being like a bottom team for years to come. So I
Yeah.
think it's a good pick. I think it's a good pick for Matt. Burke still being on the board right now is wild, but
Wild.
we'll
Yeah.
talk
So
about it.
Alex, take it away, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of jokingly talked about Alex and his draft history. We could talk about that now or further, however you want to look. It statistically hasn't looked great for him in terms of some swings and misses, but I think if we were to all like put our hands in the hat here and talk about a couple of small players, not including picks or rounds who we would like, I think a lot of us would say Kenneth Walker and Trey Burke. So if Alex fell into the situation and they didn't hit, we would all kind of look bad in that regard. I think it'd be a no-brainer. You'd have to make this pick quickly because you're looking at
Yeah.
a ceiling scenario of you having a number one running back and a number one wide receiver possibly as soon as the end of this year, right?
Yeah,
So
that
think
would
it'd be a
be
no-brainer.
huge home run hits for Alex if he gets Ken Walker and Traylon Burks in the draft.
Yeah, that
Great
would
pick,
be
Steve.
pretty crazy. But yeah, I think it's about time he gets moved over, huh? But
Can't believe he lasts to number 8,
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, there's some concerns coming out, right? It gives you kind of like those little scary things of not in shape at camp, asthma, all this stuff of like, can he hold up to an NFL season,
Yeah.
but not running with the first team. But some of it is just a lot of smoke in preseason. How many
Yeah.
times we like fall trap to like hyper stock down and then regular season starts and you're like kicking yourself for buying into all that,
they traded an arm and leg for Trey Burke, so immediately he's going to be their guy. Like they're at least going to try and make it so. So I guess I mean I like the pick. I truthfully speaking, I think Steve or someone up a little bit higher will end up taking him. But if he falls to Alex, I think that's obviously a huge asset for Alex, and I think Alex would walk away very happy.
Yep. So
right, take it
I
away.
agree with that. Number 9 pick here, Coco. This is Coco's only pick until the 9th round. So voila, this is his draft. Coco, call me if you're selling this pick. And I don't think he could take Sky Moore here. He needs a wide receiver. He needs that top guy. He can't take Sky Moore because then he has 3 Chiefs, and you can't have 3 Chiefs. But that's, in my opinion, the best wide receiver left on the board. I don't think he would go running back. He could start to hoard. This is when I feel like Damian Pierce, like Rashad White, Algier can go. But I think this is George Pickens right here.
Ooh.
The camp hype has reached a high where he is now a first round pick. And
Wow.
I think Coco will talk so much shit if this happens. A lot of shit that I'm willing to put this as my stone cold lock pick of the draft. That Coco
Whoa, I
does
like
this at
that.
number 9. And
Interesting.
Balls on the table.
what do you got to say?
I mean, I
Uh,
like the pick a lot. For some reason, Coco, he's got MVS, he's got Juju. I just
You
have a
can't
feeling
take
he's
Sky
getting
Moore.
the third. Yeah, it's
You can't
Coco
have
logic.
Sky
He's
Moore.
going for Sky Moore. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
You
I
think
no,
he
think-
would
I like
take
the
all
pick.
3?
Yeah,
I think Pickens is great, right? But part of it, Brian's
It's
always
bad
going for those.
quarterback throwing at him, dude.
Brian's always going for that reaction, man.
Yeah.
How often does he remind us about pulling the fast one on Vinny for Trey Lance and Mac Jones? I think for the spectacle of it, I think he would go Watson here and be like, I got Vinny's guy for years to come.
oh,
I like
that's-
that. I like
that's an
that
interesting
theory.
take.
I just don't think that he is in tune enough to what's going on in camp currently. I'm sure he'll do his research before the draft, but he probably isn't aware of the Pickens hype right now. I think Pickens will be good. It's just a matter of what that quarterback situation is like. So I think it's a good pick
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
The quarterback situation is the only scary part that I worry with him.
But I'll let you take the next. Unless
You're
Steve,
up, I think.
no,
You're up, I think.
Marty's up.
Yeah,
Marty's
you're
up.
up technically.
uh,
But
yeah,
I do have
guess
a bold
I'll
prediction
take
here.
it. Yeah, sorry, you're right. So Alex, pick number 10. So just looking at Alex's team, I mean, if he's getting Burks and he's getting, Kenneth Walker, I think he's done well. I think
Running
I'm
back,
Alex,
baby.
he's still going to be looking for a running back, and I think my pick for Alex at this point here would be Isaiah Spiller. I think it's a good pick too because he's immediately going to be the handcuff to.
Yeah. That's why you
Eckler.
do it.
And
That's why you do
Eckler, he obviously great running back. Crazy pick. I would say I could see Brennan maybe reaching for Spiller just in case Eckler goes down if he picks
Yeah,
up his
good call.
handcuff. But if he's there and Alex is still needing a running back, Alex went with Madison, right? The handcuff for Dalvin Cook. I can see him drafting Spiller and maybe trying to trade him to Brennan or somebody else who wants him. So
I mean, drafting the handcuff, and honestly, if Eckler were to go down, Isaiah
Which he
Spiller is the
does.
number 1 running back.
yeah, all of a sudden if Eckler goes down, Spiller is the 1. So I think
Stone
Alex
cold,
is
like
going to shoot the
easy
shot on that.
RB1.
So I like that pick for Alex. I think it's a move that Alex has taken in the past, and I could see him doing it here.
I think those are awesome points. I think like you guys said, I mean, your floor potential is you're not playing this guy all year if Eckler somehow stays healthy, but your ceiling is super high. I think part of it too, a little bold prediction here. Alex and Vinny make a ton of trades. I think if Vinny still sees Watson on the board at 10, he's going to be salivating a little bit.
Trade
I
up.
could see some sort of trade up for Watson at this
It'd
point.
be interesting.
Where
Alex could use the picks.
and try to leapfrog Marty there, where Marty could think going Watson and kind of looking at that volume. So Vinny's
not
shown
surprise
so
me.
many times that he's moved up, not only moved trade with Marty last year, but he's traded with Alex multiple times this year. So I think we're
Yeah.
on Vinny trade watch in this spot, but you never know.
Good
Yeah.
idea, Steve.
All right, what do you guys have for me? Pick number 11.
Is it me technically?
Stevie boy.
So at this point, I think if in this scenario, with what we have, Marty didn't go running back, but I think his still plan, he would like to leave with these 2 of these top 3 picks being running backs.
Yep.
I think in this situation now, you look at who's there. It's a matter of what's the most opportune position right now, like who has the most chance to make an impact right now, who's left. Damian Pierce doesn't really have much competition in Houston right now. I mean, they just let go. David Johnson's not there. I mean, they have
Yeah.
Burkhead, but I mean, has he been a startable fantasy guy week in and week out?
Him and
Probably not.
Marlon Mack coming off an Achilles, Steve, Dr. Steve.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Akers, right? There was a little bit of a lack of explosiveness in the Super Bowl. It's an injury that's
Yeah.
probably one of the hardest for athletes to come back from, especially with a burst position like a running back,
I
right?
thought him playing in the Super Bowl was a goddamn medical miracle.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of they pushed him too early, but I mean, at that point, it's one game. You're doing it for glory. You're doing what you can, right? But I think Damian Pierce here. I mean, from the sounds of it, he sounds like he's doing pretty good so far. Camp, preseason, all that. And I mean, that's just a wide open position that with a team like that, they got Davis Mills transition, they got Cooks, but otherwise they just want playmakers. And if this kid can make plays, he's going to play a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Steve, I think you said it all. Marty, put him over there. I got nothing to add to that.
Boom.
All right. You agree, Marty? That would be a nice pick, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I don't like Steve said. I mean, running back's definitely a position that I'm hurting at, but I'm not really, in a rush to. At this point here, if I have
Best player
Breece Hall
available.
and yeah, I think I can afford to have somebody on my bench and let them kind of develop. So
Maybe Sky Moore here. That would have been a nice pick too. Nice young receiver.
yeah, but
So-
we'll keep it going. We'll move right
Yep.
on to Vinny, pick number 12.
All right, Vinny. Steve, I'm there with you. I think Vinny's gonna trade a future first to get back into this year's first. I just see him. I think he's horny for a Packers player right now. So let's make
Ideal-
Christian Watson the pick here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vinny is
ideal
super horny
situation for him if this
Packer.
happens.
Yeah, ideal
Easy.
situation. I think Watson's too good not to take here too. And Vinny, although he needs running backs, these aren't running backs that you take before that you could take a top receiver.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of that like Homer potential. We talked about Alex with London. I mean, I guess me to an extent with Wilson or something. Think about in the past, Vinny traded Justin Jefferson and Josh Allen for Devontae Adams. I mean, he
Yeah.
loves rooting for his team. If Watson has any potential to be like the next Green Bay #1 guy, I think he just runs to the podium, does it, no question, kind of thing.
I'm curious who has. It's Brian that has Lazard, right?
No, Jorge.
Oh, Jorge. I'm sure Vinny's been harassing Jorge for Lazard right now because he's been harassing me for AJ Dillon. So I 100% agree. If there's a Packer available, especially at this point, Vinny, to your point, there's not really a lot of running backs Vinny would probably take a chance on over Watson. So
Yeah.
I think this is the pick for Vince if he's there.
Hey, Marty, what's been an offer from Vinny for AJ Dillon?
He sent me a few
spill the
some
secrets.
that are they
Spill the
weren't.
tea.
Well, I guess we can talk about it
Oh.
later. Save it for another podcast. But
Okay, I see how you work.
we'll keep it moving. I last one I did was for Alex, so for
Jorge.
Jorge, it's gonna be interesting. I mean Jorge, I guess he's not really hurting at any one position anymore, but he did just trade away Mike Evans. So he did get 2 running backs with Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. I think I can't remember the full piece there, but I think he'd be looking at trying to fill a little bit of a void that Mike Evans left on his team. So I could see Jorge taking a wide receiver at 13. And if Sky Moore is there, I mean, he's just the top guy available. Obviously, great offense.
Best guy available. Take it.
Yeah, I think that's where Jorge's mind is going to go. I think he's going to be looking to fill that void that Mike Evans left. And Sky Moore, there's, Juju's there, MVS is there, but I'm not really confident in MVS, Juju.
Young guy to build on.
Yeah, still up in the air. So there's opportunity for Sky Moore.
Yep. Nothing to add. That was good.
Yeah, I think you hit on all the points there. I think If we're thinking, I'm sure we'll kind of see it as time unfolds, right? But I think if we're looking at just possible potential ceilings, I think Sky Moore has probably one of the higher ones in the draft.
I
You got
mean, you
Mahomes.
got Mahomes throwing
Mahomes is
to
your
you.
quarterback. It's like at the end of the day, if he becomes Tyreek Hill like or sees anything like that volume or those plays, right? I think
Yeah.
that there's a pretty good chance that you're
That's what
looking
you
at like a
dream
top
of.
20 wide receiver at some point in his career, right? So I think he's got some pretty high potential.
Yeah. I think it's just not this year. Just not this year.
Yeah.
So, all right. Steve, draft for me, baby. What do I want?
Yeah, I guess this is a good spot to look at and think about. Um, refresh me on your depth chart tight end wise.
I'm
Just curious.
set at tight end.
All right, well, who is it? Who do you
I
have?
got Dalton Schultz
Oh
and
God.
Irv Smith.
Oh
Dalton
God.
Schultz is a top 5 tight end potentially.
Yeah, I like Dalton.
Yeah,
Anything,
this
anything
year.
less than
He was
set, but
number 5 last year. He could repeat.
yeah. But
And Irv Smith behind him. I'm good at tight end.
He's
Lock
arguably
of the
the
draft.
two on that team.
I take back the Pickens. It's that I will not be drafting a tight end.
all right. Well, what's your quarterback situation like?
It needs improvement.
All right. I think it's tough to kind of know what to do in this part. Like at this point, we've transitioned to the second round. It's a little bit of a gamble, right? Like we
Yeah.
talked about, most of the good running backs are gone. And at this point, Hugo still needs a wide receiver if there's any he likes here. There are some that are up and down. I think at this point, there's no such thing as a reach. You just take who you like. He could go Pickett. He could go Malik Willis. I mean, we don't have him in here, I don't think, on this player list, but Desmond
Yeah,
Ritter also has
there.
a potential
there.
to. Desmond Ritter is on this top 25.
No, but Willis.
Oh no.
He's got a potential to make some noise or have a just as soon of a start position as any of these guys. But I don't think you go quarterback here. I think he just goes a wide receiver he believes in. I could see you going Alec Pierce here.
Little Indy
Yeah.
with Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
T.Y.
Do you
Hilton
see
is
him as the number
retired.
2?
Yeah, T.Y. Hilton's retired. They're trying to build something youth-wise there. Jonathan Taylor, everybody's going to know that they're running. There's going to be a little bit more open lanes there. Opposite of Pittman, he plays a little different, plays a little bit slot. I think if we're looking PPR, you're looking safer, higher floor here in the second round. I think Alec Pierce probably isn't going to be your wide receiver 1, but I don't think he's any worse than a wide receiver 3, 4. I think you're looking at a solid 12, 15 points a game, and there's something to be said about the value for there.
Okay.
All right, Hugo. Hit me with it. Hit me with pick 15.
All right, Marty. You took a running back. I think you just continue to stock up on running backs because they're still on the board. So I think you would go after Algier here. And just for the gamble that he becomes Atlanta's number 1. And but all reports say that he's not looking good in camp and he's bottom of the depth chart. So we'll see how that is. I mean, he was a 4th round pick, which are supposed to be good, but 4th rounders, who knows when they hit.
What are the reports saying?
He's just not getting any first team reps.
Oh, it's not necessarily something he's done. It's just position. He's not in the positions yet.
Yeah, that. But how bad do you have to not be to be getting first team reps when the running backs that are fucking terrible?
It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Allison and it's some no names. They're all fucking free agents. Oh, they got Damian Williams this year. Don't forget. And didn't you just trade Cordero Patterson? He's a running back there too.
Yeah, so I mean,
Running back only now.
To your point,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like the pick though, Hugo, just because, like, to your point, like
It could be
Cordell
a home run.
Patterson is the RB there. Like he
Yeah.
has, you know, he has time. Obviously, dynasty league, so give him a few years and hope that he can turn into something there. And then Cordell Patterson, he's probably not going to be your guy for too much longer, so there's going to be opportunity shortly. So something to consider at least.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think
Marty,
that's a big part of it too, right? When you think
well
of
said.
also like they were also rolling out Mike Davis a ton last year, and he could barely find a job this offseason. So I think they're willing to give some playing time to anybody that shows some
Yeah.
flashes. And I mean, Patterson's job, well, we can talk about it coming up as
Yeah.
potential to be taken pretty soon.
Mike
So
Davis is one of Brendan's starting running backs, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
that's
we
a
can make a
little
whole
scary.
podcast about that.
Actually, that.
All right, well, we'll keep it going.
Steve, draft him, Marty. Draft him.
Yeah, me and Steve have been obviously talking a decent amount about just what a lot of teams are in need of, and obviously, everybody loves Pitts for Steve, great tight end to have, but Steve's backup is Gronk at this point. I think I don't know if you have
I got
anybody else.
Tanyan today in this deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tanyan. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
Alright,
he's
can
looking to
you want me
build on young tight ends.
you want me to touch on the trade real quick?
Yeah, go right
briefly?
ahead.
Yeah, so essentially what I was looking to do here, right? I think the league's kind of chimed in plenty, but I think Patterson has peaked at this point, right? Trade for future production, not production. You think I'd rather trade some guy a little too soon than a little too late, right? If he has a bad year
Always.
this year, I mean, he's droppable possibly at the end of the year, depending on how things go, or he had talked about possible retirement this year. So good to kind of move on from there, especially for my team. I have some fair amount of running backs where I'm not hoping to play him too much every week. So Tanyan, last healthy full season, he led the league in tight end touchdowns, tied with Kelsey. So I think the
I will
potential's
not
there.
be triggered by Robert Tunyon.
I think the potential's there for sure. But part of the deal too, getting the second here, just gives me a lot of flexibility where I wasn't expecting to have this pick. So now that I have it, I could kind of go a lot of different ways here. It lets me be a little more flexible with my 3 and not have to necessarily take a wide receiver depending on what's going on. Also
Yeah.
take best available, but yeah, tight end's still a little bit of a need.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my pick at Trey McBride here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Kyler Murray. Zach Ertz is getting up there in age. I think Trey's still 3 on the depth chart there, but give him a few more years, and all of a sudden that's going to change. And that offense is still very young and talented. So, to your point, Steve, I don't think you're really hurting at tight end immediately. So I think this is where you could take a chance on a young tight end, give him a few years, and hope that he turns into something. And I feel like with Sleeper, that's kind of what you got to do with tight ends at this point here, because there's not too many good ones that come into the league, and there's at least already some sort of hype around Trey. So
Yeah.
I think it would be a good pick to just kind of take a shot on.
Yeah, I mean, one thing Alex has done really well in the league is he kind of stacked those tight ends, waited on him in terms of Freiermuth and Hawkinson, and it pays off, right? It's a position that it's not going to necessarily impact right away.
Yeah,
Right,
he's
but
got him
it's
ready to go
something-
back to back.
If you kind of sit them for a little bit, there's some potential. And like you said, our rosters are so deep and we've drafted so many that there's not a Kyle Pitts every year, right? So it's not like you're getting a top tight end in the draft every single year. So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah,
good
the
point.
best tight end's going at pick 16 according to us. So
Yeah.
it's just not that year,
Yeah.
Next year's a great tight end year, by the way, guys. Next year's a great tight end year.
Michael Mayer on Notre Dame, they're
Yeah.
calling him Baby Gronk. Could be a
Damn.
bold prediction, a
Brock
top 10
Bowers,
pick next year.
dude. That's just a badass name, the tight end for Georgia.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent next year overall.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
All
keep
right.
it moving. We're
got-
almost running out of time, so
Steve,
we'll
send
keep
it.
flowing.
Let's fire him here. Yeah, we're running out a little bit of time. I think Jorge, for him,
He needs to build up his wide receivers again.
he does, right? But is there a lot right here that he'd like? I mean, Dotson does have some potential. You don't know what that offense is
Yeah.
gonna look like with Wentz, but they like what they see from him. Slot guy, someone opposite of Terry. I think that's where he goes.
Yeah, I think Jorge, I mean, historically he's done well with drafting. So
Yeah.
hopefully
Jorge has a
he can
great
keep it
draft
going.
record.
He's done well at drafting with receivers. So we'll see. I think Dotson, again, they're still looking for some receiver help now that he's done a little bit of trading. So I think that's a good pick for him.
And Terry McLaurin's number 2. Who knows? Good pick. All right. You got anything to add, Steve?
Nope. I think who made that pick? Me?
You. So I'll
I got nothing to add.
Matty boys pick here.
You brought him up.
And guys, hey, we got real lucky. We went the whole draft and none of us had our own pick. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
maneuvered this pretty well. So Matty Daddy is gonna still be in need of wide receivers. So David Bell is going to be the pick here. I think David Bell is going to be taken higher than this in our actual draft if I had something to say about it. But I
Matt
think that's a pick.
Matt did love the Browns, but now after this whole Baker Mayfield fiasco, I think he's gonna drift away from any Browns players. But I guess we'll see. But
Yeah, I agree.
someone I want to do Matt's last pick. So somebody take B Money.
Really?
Uh,
I feel like Matt's last pick is a pretty obvious one, depending on what Brendan does here.
Go, Steve. What do you got to say about one of your best friends?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Brendan's such a wild card. Who knows? I think he's a little bit of a name chaser, so I wouldn't be surprised if Marlon Mack goes here. You could throw him in there. But I think the next one, Matt would be really happy to have his options. There's a need for him here. I think we know where he's going.
Yeah, I was thinking Matt's been kind of excited about Kenny Pickett, and
Yeah, he
it
likes
seems
him.
he's kind of like asking people around the league, "Oh, what do you think? Are you gonna take him?" I think he's trying to get a feel for like when he needs to draft him. So
I think he'd be willing to trade up for him I think Pickett's definitely his guy, but I think even if Pickett's not there, I think he'd still take a shot on one of the other quarterbacks, to be honest.
yeah, Matt's obviously could use a little bit more help at quarterback there. He hasn't. I mean, last year he was starting Heineke and Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield and.
But again, it's crowded and
But now he's got Russ though, right? So I mean, I think Russ is going to have a great year this year, but I still think Matt's in need of a backup just in case, because the 2 and 3 options for him are kind of weak. So I don't think he's really needs a rush, but I think this is where he's going to be kind of looking to get, sneak in a good quarterback pick here. So I like the pick with Kenny. So
Definitely. Yeah. What do we
There
have
you
in terms of
go.
time left on this thing?
we got about 5
Boys,
minutes, but we can.
5, but
I think
wrap
we're
it
pretty
up
much
there.
wrapping
I
it
think
up.
Yeah.
that this was great. This was great talks.
I think
Any surprise pick?
yeah, I think there's definitely some surprises here. I want to hear some bold predictions. I want one each from each person, and then I got a couple of draft stats to finish out.
Nice.
Yeah. I truthfully I don't see Trey Burks falling as deep as he did in our draft here, but I as far as bold predictions, I think there's still trades to be made. So
Yeah.
I can see Alex maybe trading away 8 or 10 for trying to move up or something like that. I just feel like he's going to be trying to do something crafty here. There's some
Yeah.
players that he wants, and I can see Vinny also doing that. Like you said, moving into the first round, it seems like a kind of Vinny move to make here. So
Yeah, Vinny, I like that. I think we called it earlier. Vinny definitely moved back into the first round. My bold prediction, Sky Moore is definitely not going to last that long. When you have Patrick Mahomes throwing to you, that's sexy as fuck.
yeah,
And sex sells, baby.
my bold prediction, I'll keep it short, is going to be that there's one live trade in the draft. There's going to be at least one. So,
Yeah, I think so for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, I mean, just by how we're seeing this, right? If the board falls this way, I think you're looking at least one trade in just this top 2 rounds, right?
I would love that
think,
timeout. I love that timeout opportunity.
that
if we could
official?
do
Is
it,
that a
but-
happening
2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I think it'd be
out.
cool to give people the chance to
And-
trade live, but
Yeah.
It's something we're gonna have to vote on.
Steve,
Day
give
of,
us some facts.
stopwatch it. My quick bold
Yes,
prediction is that
definite stopwatch.
the top running back performance this year in terms of total fantasy points this year is not going to come from any of the top 3 running backs taken in this mock. So I think any of these top 3 running backs taken, the best season by a rookie running back is not going to be from the top 3. But we do have
Okay.
some stats here for you. Just as a reminder of importance of the draft. We all get hyped for it, but you got to hit on these picks and you got to hit on them when you have them high. So in the last 2 years, ironically, these numbers will bore you, but let's just kind of bear with me for some percentages.
Let's hear it, Steve.
So of the 2020 and the 2021 first round, when you add up all the fantasy points they have scored in their rookie season, it's exactly the same. 1,222 points scored collectively by all those players. When you look at
Good drafts.
when you look at 2020 season, the top 3 were Clyde, Jonathan Taylor and Joe Burrow, who had his injury season there, so his point potential is a little bit lower than it should be. But even with that season-ending injury, those top three made up 61% of the total points scored from the top 10 that year. So again, that's three players making up more than half. Last year was even crazier. We had Najee, Pitts, and Chase. We all know really good players from that. Those top three players made up 78, almost 80% of the total points scored of the top 10 last year. So not only, so for people who think drafting is not important, it is very important, especially important to take them high. So keep that in mind in your drafts, boys.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good facts.
I
I
like
think there's
it,
a lot of
Steve.
good players this year to hopefully kind of balance things out, but I guess those are some scary stats to think about. So
Yep. 1 week away, boys. Get those countdowns ready.
how many points did Trey Sermon have?
You really want to know the fact?
I'm just kidding.
Wow,
I mean,
dude.
Hey, if I told you
That
over
was
under
unsolicited.
over under
Sorry, Alex.
75.
He's gonna be so mad.
Disregard that.
Over
Disregard
under
that question.
75. What do you think? I got the stat.
75
Under
what?
over or under 75?
Yep. Total points.
In the first game.
No. Over 75. His total for the season is rookie year. Trey Sermon.
It's got to be a little bit above that, but
Under.
Way under 37.
wow.
And we'll leave you with this. That was only too short of Terrence Marshall's rookie year.
Wow.
39.
Great fun
That's a good
fact, Steve.
point. But we'll wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for listening, and thank you again, Steve, for joining and being a part of this here. It was a lot of fun. Me and Hugo, we don't have we're still in talks of what our next podcast episode is going to be, but we
We'll
don't
figure it
have,
out. Let's leave
a
them
guest yet,
wanting more,
so-
baby. Leave them wanting more.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who wants to be a part of the next one. Just feel free to text Hugo and I, and feel free to join us. But thanks
Awesome.
everybody for tuning in, and
Good time, boys.
Steve,
till
thank
next
you.
time.
Got it, man. Later, guys.
All right, adios.